Hey guys, welcome to my video. Today we'll be reading this wonderful Wattpad story called Beautiful People. It's a lesbian story, and I actually made a video for this already, but it ended up just not working and I couldn't post it because it was just the GB was too big. So I decided to record in another video, but this time we won't take as long. So I'm gonna be reading only half of this chapter because it's a very long one, and I've already gotten the permission from the author, but they had asked me to only limit it to like one chapter. So I'm just gonna read half of the chapter so you guys can see if you want to read it yourself or not. I do recommend going ahead and reading it yourself in Wattpad. It's much more easier and more fun when you kind of read it alone. So let's get started, shall we? It would be unfair to suggest Vera was trying to get fired. Sure, this was the second day in a row she had stumbled into her shift at the bridal salon half an hour late. But it wasn't her fault that the driver's wife had called him halfway through the route yesterday to say she was leaving him. He was only paused long enough to dump his passengers on the sidewalk before yanking the bus around to dash home, and it certainly wasn't Vera's fault that today replacement bus driver had turned a corner right into a parked car, leaving her stranded again. So Vera had to wait for the next bus. It wasn't a big deal, it was only 20 minutes, and the clients were rarely on time for their appointments. Anyway, Mona couldn't have expected Vera to walk the rest of the way. It was raining, and her boots had 3-inch heels. Vera didn't mind the delay, even if she didn't love huddling close between other grumpy passengers. In the steaming bus shelter, rain hissing against the glass overhead. She did love having 20 extra minutes to scroll through the photos from the latest runway show by Fatima Patia, a waterfall of willowy models stalking across her phone, screen in bold colors and non-traditional silhouettes. A glittering inspiration. Someday, those would be Vera's designs, making jaws drop at Fashion Week. Thumbing through the shots, Vera could already see her celebrity crush, Carmen Juarez, wearing the exquisite gown constructed of draping sunset pink folds and brown leather panels with gold wire accent. The dress was dramatic, a statement, and so much better than the boring princess prom dresses Carmen so often wore to swan down a red carpet. The next bus lurched up to the stop with a groan. Sheets of rain followed the delayed passengers in through the creaky door, thickening the clammy air inside the bus until it stank of wet wool and helpless anger. Vera squeezed between a sweaty man who coughed like he was trying to bring up a lung and the woman chattering nonstop into the phone hugged close to her ear, pushing onto her toes to hook her fingertips through a strap. Vera banged the phone call woman with her purse. The woman cut a glare as filthy as if Vera had insulted her dog. Vera pretended not to notice. just opened her notes app to start drafting the Fashion Week post for her blog one-handed. Guys, sorry to cut here. A little disclaimer. Sorry if I sometimes make mistakes when reading. I get stuttery, or sometimes I just can't understand or can't say a word properly when I get nervous, or just in general I just have difficulties, even though it may seem easy to say to others. Okay, let's continue. Chilly sweat oozed down the back of her neck. It was a good thing she had taken her outfit of the day selfies before she left her apartment, instead of waiting to get an atmospheric shot in the rain. When the bus finally puttered up to her stop, Vera escaped the steamy, sweaty cage with a sigh of relief. Clutching her umbrella close, she clicked up the stairs into the bridal salon as fast as her heels would allow. Inside the airy loaf, Mona was still getting the blonde bride and her giggling entourage settled on the white leather chairs. She hasn't even brought out the champagne yet, but that was probably because the champagne was Vera's job. She hurried to unravel her scarf and unbutton her coat. Mona threw her a brief, pinched look, said, "I am not happy with you." Vera couldn't bring herself to care. Turning back to the customers, a brilliant smile curved Mona's thin pink lips, like someone had flipped a switch and reset her to factory default. "And this is my assistant, Vera. She'll help us figure out what shapes are most flattering on you. She knows a little bit about style." Vera snorted softly as she retrieved the bubbly from the fridge and counted out 6 deceptively cheap champagnes flutes onto a tray. A year and a half of design school and a fashion blog with 30,000 followers wasn't a little, but Mona had never been impressed by Vera's credential. "If you're such a big deal, then why do you want a job here?" she had asked at the interview. Vera had made up some bullshit excuse about wanting to learn, instead of admitting that no one else was impressed by her credentials either. An unfinished degree was worth nothing, and 30,000 followers wasn't impressive next to influencers who had millions. Mona went on to the clients in that syrupy sweet tone she reserved for the brides she expected to drop the most money. "We're going to make sure you look absolutely gorgeous on your big day. But before we start, let's set the mood, shall we?" Setting the tray on the spindly glass table, Vera put on the best smile she could manage. "Bubbly, anyone?" She started working at the cork with both thumbs. The bride was nattering at an older, equally blonde woman who was probably her mother. Mona glanced at Vera, looked away, then turned back slowly in a very obvious, very fake double take, her eyebrows arching dramatically. Vera resisted the urge to roll her eyes. Yes, on top of being late, she had shown up today with all her hair chopped off in a rag bob, but that was only because she wasn't getting over Alex as fast as she had expected to. Yesterday, he had posted a photo with his new girlfriend. They were at the zoo, arms wrapped aggressively around each other, smiling with all their teeth in front of the tiger cage. Vera hadn't expected that to make her cry. Sometimes a bad breakup required a tearful hair hack, even if the dress code called for tidy curls that fell past the shoulders. Vera was only sorry that her hair had emerged, looking more like she had been mauled by that tiger than the cute bob she had been going for. And she hadn't been able to get an appointment with her hairstylist until after her shift today. The dress code was stupid anyway. It wasn't like the bride cared what Vera looked like. She was here to put on pretty white dresses that cost more than 3 months of Vera's rent and make her friends tell her how beautiful she was. The cork burst free with an inexplicably satisfying pop. The bride giggled. Mona finally ended her practiced patter with a shimmering fake laugh. Vera tipped fizzy golden wine into the tall clear glass and passed them out. Rain sliced gray and cold against the huge windows, and Vera turned on the last bank of lights to compensate. The bride hated the first 16 gowns Mona suggested, and then the next 10 Vera recommended. Vera pushed out racks after racks of samples, only to have them all rejected in turn. Behind a lush velvet curtain, the bride grunted and wriggled her curves into dresses several sizes too small for her. Vera did her best to pin the gaping seams together. The bridesmen went, "Oh!" and gorg, like little minions. The mother said hopefully, "It couldn't be altered." The problem wasn't that the bride was exceptionally picky. The problem was she was a big girl, and the dresses Mona stocked didn't provide samples bigger than a size 14. Vera hated it, just like she had come to loathe everything about this job, but she grit her teeth and brought out her favorite gown, the one with all the tiny seeds, pearls hand sewn in patterns like lilies. The bride's eyes lit up. The dress was a generous 14 and flattering to a curved figure. With high hopes, Vera helped her step into it, and they began again the delicate dance of attempting to fasten it. Wriggle, twist, check that all the buttons are indeed unfastened. And then it happened. The bride grabbed the size to hose the delicate fabric up over her bigger than average chest. Okay. I know that I said half of the chapter and it's not even half, but I'm gonna cut it here as like a cliffhanger-ish, so you'll want to read it on your own. I'm gonna have to cut it here also because I don't want to go overboard the 1 GB thing that Reddit has. So thank you for watching. If you have any other suggestions, please do tell. I'm willing to listen. And maybe if the author of those books I'll be willing to read it to everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.